We don't cover politics a lot on this channel. Actually, to be exact, I have never made a political video before, but I have a few strong opinions on the situation that I think are important to say. And many of you may begin to dislike me after this video is posted, but I think that that's more of a reflection of the current political climate. I believe it's important to disagree and have discussions about situations related to how your own country is run. So if you disagree with me, I urge you to comment below what your opinion is and why. As of August 25th, 2025, Trump has signed an executive order mandating a 1-year jail sentence for those who burn or desecrate the flag. He says, in quote, "You burn the flag, you get 1 year in jail," and it goes on your record. This situation has caused quite the controversy as of late, with many polarizing opinions on the topic. But there are a few major points that particularly stand out to me. First, we have to go back in time. The Supreme Court had ruled that flag burning was to be protected under the First Amendment, freedom of speech. In the landmark case, Texas v. Johnson, they said that the government cannot criminalize the destruction of the American flag, and that it is a form of political protest and is protected because it is symbolic speech. Later on, Congress passed the Flag Protection Act of 1989 to try and circumvent the court's ruling, but this law was struck down by the Supreme Court in United States v. Eichmann. So we have two instances showing that flag burning is protected under the freedom of speech. Furthermore, I believe that the freedoms we Americans have is essential to our democracy. When you compare our country to others like North Korea, China, or Iran, what makes us different is our freedoms, the rights and liberties we have as people to express ourselves. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this country and would not rather be anywhere else, but I believe to maintain our freedoms, we have to allow opinions and protests that don't cause harm to other individuals. When someone buys a flag that they now own, it is their property, and they should be allowed to do whatever they please as long as it doesn't harm other people. This of course means I don't support people burning flags in the middle of the road and holding up traffic or bothering people in public places. I do believe that those cases there should be some form of punishment because you're causing a public disturbance, not because you're burning the flag, but rather because you're impeding on people's ability to work and in turn hurting the economy. And I think a prime example of this that's important to talk about would be the veteran who held a protest for the First Amendment after the executive order was signed.
You feel that you may want to express yourself. There's a First Amendment right to burn the American flag. The Lord Jesus in that house right there signed an executive order today saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. No Congress shall make a law infringing on First Amendment rights. I'm burning this flag as a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house.
Now, I do agree with his protest, though I don't believe that him burning the flag itself should necessarily be legal, but not for the reasons many others have. Burning this type of fabric is illegal in many states because, firstly, fire is a hazard, let's not get that confused, and it's also releasing noxious gases into the atmosphere, but I don't believe his charge should be lengthened because he was burning the American flag in particular. So essentially, I think he should get punished for burning a fabric like this and potentially putting people at harm by starting a fire, but I believe the desecration of the flag is protected under the freedom of speech. I'm sure you could imagine the many other ways someone could potentially desecrate or destroy an American flag that don't involve burning them, such as cutting it up or whatever you can think of. These should be, and constitutionally are, protected by the freedom of speech and expression. We are not a dictatorship, we are not totalitarian. Whether we like it or not, people are able to do what they like with their own personal property. If they bought and own the flag, it is now theirs to do as they please for whatever reason they have. That is not something for us to impede upon. Furthermore, if we did impede upon something like this with the law, it wouldn't change anyone's mind. Just because you stop someone from expressing their opinion doesn't suddenly make that opinion disappear. We need to be able to share our opinions, even if the topic is controversial. This is how we push forward as a society. Censorship does nothing except make people even more upset. It doesn't solve any issues. It's just a form of suppression used by a less free system of government to silence their people. We are the land of the free, or we're supposed to be, and the land of the free would grant freedom for all points of views, not just the one you agree with. There's a book that I think really shows how far this ideology could go, how far censorship could really suppress the population. I'm sure you've heard of it before. Commentary YouTubers just can't really seem to read anything else. 1984 is a book about suppression, a fear of words, topics, and ideas. The fear that the wrong opinion could poison the population, that even a suggestion of anything controversial could plague the mind with thoughts that'll lead to treason. For example, instead of bad, we have ungood. Instead of treason, we have malreport. And I pray for you if you even say anything that goes against the government. Speech and expression. These things are so innately human, and then being controlled by a larger system leads to a superficial, almost robotic society where everyone must walk on eggshells, where we all have to be the same, no differences, no creativity, no arguments, no discussions. Utterly perfect, right? Well, for many out there who can't handle other people's opinions, that is perfect for them. But this is supposed to be a rhetorical question. Diversity is a core of American society. New ideas and ways of progression form as we have different opinions. So I emphasize the importance of this right we have as American citizens. It needs to be protected and it needs to be secured. Prison time for the freedom of speech should not be tolerated. It is borderline totalitarian. But with that, that's my opinions on the situation. Please let me know what your thoughts are below. If you enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.